Okay, guys, before, we spoke about the who and the why for counterfeiting shares. Today we were talking about the how. Now, previously, we talked about the biggest beneficiaries, who are the short, or the people that are actually making the shorts, which are the large banks, the large institutions and whatnot. Those are the ones who are, creating most of these short scams, is counterfeiting of shares. So, and so we have talked about their role and everything like that, but before we talk about the how, I'm going to talk a little bit about, the instrument themselves, so you understand the how a little bit better. So when an investor buys, looks at their brokerage statement, they think they own shares of stock. They don't. They own financial derivatives of registered shares, and their brokerage firm is the nominee that holds the shares. So you don't actually own the shares, you own an untraceable commodity. And that makes the counterfeiting of these shares possible. So when they moved from actually buying and selling the actual stock towards an online system where shares are not actually bought, they're all held by CEDE. They hold all the shares, and then these the market makers and the DTCC, etc., then settle the transactions, or the market makers create do the transactions, and they're settled by the DTCC. So what we do get out of this, though, is so the brokers lend out the shares held in margin accounts of their customers, and which is against the financial interests of their own clients, because the customers want their stock to go up, and the practice of shorting and naked shorting is depressing the price of those shares. So against Fidelity, all these companies that have the shares of stock, and all of them, they are lending out their shares to market makers and to short those stocks, which is a practice which is disgusting, because only the brokers are making money from it, and the people that actually hold the shares should be the ones making money from it. So it goes against the economic interests of the company, because it drives the stock price down. So, and large mutual funds like Fidelity and Vanguard and pension funds do this to the detriment of the clients. They do this too. So the market maker, so what happens is regulation SHO requires a market maker to locate a source of borrowable stock before executing a short. But regulation SHO now, it gives you basically 6 days to do that. So, and if a market maker doesn't locate the shares, the NSCC steps in and to guarantee settlement. So if the shares are not located, it's considered a failure to deliver. Now, if they have if they have a failure to deliver, the ways to get around that, or the need to locate shares, is that say market maker A goes to market maker B and was like, hey, look, you have shares of this stock. Market maker B, just naked them, so they could counterfeit the shares, and like, sure, yeah, we do, here they are. And then market maker B has 6 days to cover that. Otherwise, it becomes a failure to deliver. And then they just go to market maker C and is like, hey, look, you got this? And they're like, yeah. So that can go on ad infinitum. But at some point it can come up to them. But, and the real problem is that the SEC lacks the resources, or more likely is disinterested in, forcing a buy-in, so the failures to deliver are basically ignored. So, and whatever they're labeled, their failure to deliver, they're labeled a ton of crap, but basically the SEC and the market makers just basically ignore them, if they don't end up actually locating the shares. So that's the how of how they do this. This is a crime, by the way, and, but they're doing it. We should see some changes around May 6th, possibly. But regardless, that's the how of what they do it.